What is going on, guys? Joey Franza here with Flex Training Systems and the Twitch chat. We have a super special ultimate late Q&A. This was originally just going to be one video, but I got a lot of questions that I feel like I could just answer quick, mildly quick. Somebody in chat time me. If this goes to 20 minutes, tell me to stop. Anyway, we got a bunch of questions here. I'm just going to kind of like go like that, right, as we get to them. I did this Q&A on Instagram in my story, which is where I am. It is by far the most active form of social media that I have, just Instagram stories. But yeah, so yeah, we're just gonna go through it. Hopefully you guys take something away from it. I'm gonna try to provide different answers from, what most people answer, just because I mean I'm different and I feel like a lot of answers are like very saturated, like everybody gives the same answer, so I'm just gonna give the Joey answer. First question, why is DL capitalized? Anyway, squat and deadlift cues. I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys, and this might be strange, but me personally, I am not like, I tell people what to do to get them to move the way I want them to, but I am not really big on like I have a couple cues that I like, but I'm not really like a super big guy because on cues, because what I found is like certain people respond to different things, and some people they just don't resonate with certain like super standard cues that you hear everybody say. So what I try to do is learn that person, and then I will describe to them what it is that I want them to do. But just like if I had to give you a couple, I mean, brace hard. Brace hard. No, one of them for deadlifts, for people that really bend their arm, like, they have that like one bicep that is always bent. I like to say, imagine you're trying to, you're breaking a pencil in half, or you're going to externally rotate your arms, right? Using pencil again, for squat, pinching your shoulder blades together. And things like that. I actually don't even like those cues. It's been so long since I've really used, cues like that. Again, I get people to move how I want them to, but spread the floor is a great one. It really depends, right? It's a very like individual type thing, because a cue that you give generally to someone that moves a certain way might not work for other people. And I see way too many times somebody will hear a lifter say that they were cueing this or they were cueing that, and that's what works for the lifter they're watching, but when they try it, it just doesn't, it's not the same thing. So bench accessories, assuming favorite bench accessories. So for the competition bench, assuming you bench with a little bit of a wider grip, I really like close grip bench a lot. That is like my favorite, by far, close grip benching. And then we're just gonna go from the comp bench and then the most similar thing, and then kind of spread out. So you have comp benching, you have close grip benching, you have any kind of comp or close grip, maybe even wide grip sort of tempo, feet up, anything like that. And then we're gonna get into dumbbells, and then you're gonna change the angle. So you're gonna talk incline, you're gonna talk, and then like the very lowest priority, you can hit shoulders. But I mean, in my opinion, unless you are someone that really needs to develop, you don't need to focus on that as much as what a lot of, I think, older generation powerlifters, you would always see them doing heavy overhead press. So if you like it, that's one thing, but it's definitely not needed. But yeah, close grip bench if I had to pick one, 100%. Breaking plateaus. So that was like the way the person worded this question was very strange to me. But essentially, what I took this as, you're probably stalled in your training, and you don't know how to lift more, right? You feel like what you're doing is not working. Maybe you've tried a couple different things. Just know that you're probably doing too little at the time, or you're probably doing too much at the time. We are going to get into basics a little bit later, but just make sure that your food, water, sleep, stress, all those things are in place. If you're a beginner, there's like a million programs you can run that are going to give you some general progress, but everyone is going to be at a different point right? So I can't really give one answer, say, hey, this is how you break plateaus, but essentially, um, there is a right combination of work that you should be doing, and then you're going to do that work, and then you're going to need to kind of take a break from it. So you're going to have a deload, you're going to have whatever, so your body can actually kind of catch up. And usually around that time is kind of like when, PR show, but it's almost like tapering for a meet, right? Training is just applying stress and removing stress, applying stress or removing stress, and doing that in a way that's going to make you get stronger. You're going to kind of trick the body into getting stronger. What do champ lifters have in common? This is actually asked by my brother. Champion lifters have in common 100% without a doubt. It's going to be the mindset. You just have the ability to perform when the pressure is on, and you don't let things that go wrong kind of steer you off path, right? And then just over time, just repetition, you kind of build up that confidence. You have that trust in the process, and it's not that you're fearless, but you're we call it being a gamer, right? You show up on the day. You're ready to execute when it's time. When your name is called and the pressure is on, you've done so much preparation that it empowers you and it gives you this confidence to just blow it up on the platform. So 100% mindset. I've been in some situations with really, really with John Hack even. I remember when he got hurt close to Worlds, and then I remember I had to redo his plan. We wrote it up and I gave it to him and he followed it, and we came out on top. And a lot of people would get discouraged. A lot of people mentally, thank you for the host, Juicebox. They kind of they don't rise to the occasion. So 100% mindset. Obviously a little bit of luck, a little bit of genetics, but mindset for sure is a big. They all have the crazy mindset. You need to have that if you're gonna stay at the top for any meaningful amount of time. Why are potatoes good? I take it you asked that question because we were spamming it on my Instagram the other day. Rest in peace, Potato Girl. Why are potatoes healthy? I figure we might just do a quick Google search. Potatoes are rich in vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, which make them very healthy. Studies have linked potatoes and their nutrients to a variety of impressive health benefits, including improved blood sugar control, reduced heart disease risk, and higher immunity. Holy hell, eat your potatoes, brother. Potatoes like that one food where, like, I don't know anybody that doesn't like some form of potatoes, right? Okay, number 6, good coaching resources. All right, so I get asked this a lot. All the time. Literally, it's probably one of the most common things I get asked. And it's hard for me to answer because I can't point you into any one direction. Coaching, study great football coaches, study great basketball coaches, study their mindset, study their license, study, the greats like that, right? As far as like how to coach powerlifters, like program, I would say I'm just gonna drop some names of people that are like generally on the right track, and if you just dig enough deep into it, you'll find some value. But my advice to you is gonna be listen to everyone, try everything, find out what works for you, put in the time, put in the effort, work for free, and then get good at it, and then you can start charging when a demand builds up. So 3DMJ is good. Lane Norton puts out good stuff. Eric Helms puts out a lot of good stuff. Mike Israel, believe it or not, he I know he's kind of like almost in the untested realm, but he puts out, like, he's really good at explaining like complicated scientific literature and concepts and putting it in a way that's really easy to understand. Who else? Menno Henselmans. I don't know how to spell that, but he's really he's like nuts. And then just be a sponge, absorb everything that you can, and take from it what you find valuable, try it out, and give it time, and you'll. I could keep going, but there's a lot of stuff out there. But yeah, coaching and programming is kind of like different things, but also similar. How to find your worth as a coach. The end of this was in the community. So this person, I'm assuming they want to know how they can eventually get to a point where they can coach people. And it kind of goes in with number 6, where, one, you need to gain information. And then you need to take that information and try it out, see what you like, see what works for you, see what doesn't. Play to your strengths, right? Play to your strengths. If you're really, really good at you're gonna have to help people get stronger, right? But I mean, there are some coaches that are not like super outspoken and passionate like I am, and nobody ever hears about them because they're just not good at that, right? They're just not. I don't know. They don't have that, but they are really good at, like, maybe they can make a sick ass freaking graph and things like that, and they're really good at like typing, or they can make good Instagram posts that are informative or whatever, and be authentic, right? So you got to do all those things, get your word out there, to do whatever you can to add value to yourself, and then don't get ahead of your values. So
Oh my God,
you don't want to. I think it plays into being authentic. You don't want to get outside of like where you truly believe you are. So for example, I mean, some coaches are delusional, or coaches in quotations, right? They think that they're bigger than they are, and it shows. Because they're obviously not happy with where they're at. But you essentially want to, I think, results at the end of the day. If you can just provide results consistently over time, I mean, I'll take myself as an example. If I continue to show up at big meets with different lifters, and some of them the same, some of them different, and and I just show a lot of consistency, and I have a presence, and I'm always there, then people are you're gonna start to build a reputation, and your reputation is everything. Just yeah, I mean, all those things are gonna help you build worth as a coach. But at the end of the day, if you're working one-on-one with someone and they are thankful to have you, then I believe that's valuable. And the that if that's what you need to kind of display to people in a non-shitty, authentic way, if that makes sense, right? I used to always say, if you have a good personality and you can put that on the internet in a way that's entertaining for people, or inspiring, or people are able to take from it. I am yawning. It's night. It's late for me. But then it's just a matter of time. You got to be consistent. Social media will do the rest. Body fat for athletes. I only got one thing to say to this, because that's all the person said was body fat for athletes. I will say that, quoting my man Alberto Nunez, the body fat that you are most effective as an athlete at may not be where you're most comfortable at, right? So you might be a little bit heavier, you might lose your abs, but that is where you are most optimal, as a whatever it is that you're doing, right? Obviously, like, if you're gonna be an NFL lineman, you're gonna need some fat, unless you're Aaron Donald. All right, 9, is foam rolling a meme? So I think I see foam rolling as like a form of like mobilizing, right? And I do think that for some people, it's very valuable to get loose ahead of time. I mean, I don't know if you guys can see Tina right behind me, but I remember we were watching UFC. It was a pay-per-view a couple weeks ago, and during the whole event, we had it up on the TV, and she was just like, she pushed the table aside, she was on the carpet, and she was just mobilizing, stretching, doing whatever she had to do. And she said she felt great and her hips weren't bothering her that day, and it was like, it really made a difference. But it was like a really long time for her to get loose. Me personally, I don't foam roll like that. I wouldn't foam roll before, I wouldn't mess with my spine at all before anything heavy. But I absolutely need to stretch, like, my legs. If I don't stretch my hips and my quads, my glutes, my hams, my calves, all that, my lower back even. Um, I'm just gonna get hurt. It's almost like if I specifically ignore one of those areas and I train, it's a high probability that I'm gonna pull it or get hurt there. So, I mean, this kind of ties into warm up. Everybody should have the warm up that works for them, and then as you get older, as you get stronger, as you become a little bit more stiff, because we are powerlifting, right? You're gonna need to do different things in order to get ready to train. Number 10. Should sumo and conventional have separate divisions? I don't think so. I think there's going to be some rare cases where you have a sumo deadlift that's like obviously, you know, the amount of effort that they put in to move the bar is not as much just like from a straight up like muscle mass standpoint. But what they don't have in muscle mass, they have in maybe technique or positioning. So I mean, you could almost you can't like I don't know if you can ever equate them, but what one doesn't have, the other one might have. I think it's okay for now. I haven't seen anything that's like, wow, this is so crazy. Like nobody should do that. You know, those two that shouldn't be fair or whatever. Um, and I do think a lot of really strong sumo pullers, not all of them, but a good amount, also have a good conventional. Not all of them, but a good amount. Number 11, stonks. Okay, I actually wanted to talk about this because I do have social media. A good amount of people see my stuff. Thousands even. Many of them are young. Many of them are impressionable, and I don't want to put out a message that is incorrect. So, I will say this: if you guys wanna, I encourage everyone that has disposable income, or if you don't have disposable income, maybe you can, you know, work hard and save money, and then once you have a good amount of money that is saved up, just educate yourself on the stock market. Understand I'm still learning so much. Like it's cool for me because it's like a new play thing. Like, oh, I'm learning all these terms and I'm learning all this stuff, and I'm a smart person, and anything that I get into, I usually succeed at it, right? And there's just so much knowledge out there. There's so much, you know, to learn, and there is a volatility to it. So basically, you never want to just listen to a random person and just like, oh, this person said buy this and buy it, right? Granted, what happened recently was like super unprecedented, and there were people that did make money from it, but a lot of people lost a lot of money. I guarantee you more people lost money, right? So I will just say this: if you want to get into the stock market and you want to gamble on things that are super volatile, if you want to do it, make sure it's money that pretend like I don't have this money. Would I be okay without it, right? I would say mess with like less than 5%. 5% of your total net worth. I mean, you can pretty much do whatever you want with that, right? But educate yourself. It is a game, but it's also not. It's a game for me, but for some people it might not be. And I mean, you know, it is kind of exciting to see the numbers goes up, but at the same time, you got to know what you're doing. So I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know shit. It's just a game. I'm having fun with it. I don't want people to do what I'm doing. But I think long term, if you're smart with your money, it can really pay off. But there are safer things than stocks. Number 12. Do I like that the kids are at CNATs versus nationals? No, I would prefer to have everyone together. I like when nationals is big because it's like everybody that we see online, we all get to meet at one place. And it's really cool to meet everyone and sign belts and freaking sign wrist wraps and just the crowd there, the energy. It's super dope. But I will say for this year, I mean, it is what it is. I'm happy that we're even getting 10 minutes in. Nice, Isaac. Nice. I'm happy that we're even having it, but I would prefer the other way where everybody was together. Why is Grant 7 feet tall? Why is Grant 7 feet tall? Well, I believe he's like, I mean, he's probably like Viking or Swedish or something. Grant. Why isn't he coming up? I'm trying to pull up his Instagram. Why is Grant 7 feet tall? I was looking at this the other day. I mean, look how tall this man is. He just like towers over the bar. That's a little baby bar compared to him, right? Look at him at lockout. This man is like 9 feet tall right now. Look at that range of motion. You could drive a car under those plates, brothers. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. He's like Thor's little brother. I mean, that's probably why he's 7 feet tall. Do people undervalue the basics? So when I think of basics, I think good technique, food, sleep, water, stress. There's another one. I forget. Yes, absolutely. The amount of people that could lock in those variables, like you fix all those things, you're eating enough food, you're going to sleep on time, you're not stressed out. The majority of the energy that you exert in the day goes into powerlifting, right? For some people that's not reasonable, for others it is. But I do believe that when you can lock in those basics, you could run like an all right program and make progress, right? And make pretty decent progress. When you get to the very, very, very end of your genetics, right? And you've been training for a super long time. Many, 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 many years down the road. So like basically all my top lifters, right? Except Jesus. He's like 12 years old. You need to optimize more things. You're not going to be able to get away with, like, your training needs to be on point. Your food, your sleep, all this, everything needs to be on point. But I absolutely do believe that people overthink little things. They might stress over techniques, so a lot more than they need to. There's so many things that people they take for granted, or they're so worried about the minutia that it's like, dude, sleep more than 4 hours a night and like drink 2 gallons of water a day and eat enough carbs. And all these little things that you're worried about, oh, you miss, your technique is off, you have a hip shift and all these things. It's like all that's going to go away when you handle the business. My boys know to sleep. All right, if you're a flex boy, you know to go to fucking sleep. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's important. You know what I'm saying? You got to handle business. So, yes, eat enough, don't stress out, have good mentals, all that. My training. Okay. I was talking to Tina about this the other day. And I built a 750 squat, 474 bench, and a measly 300 kg deadlift because I don't do it. And my training for the last... I think the last time I actually wrote training for myself was like 2015, 2016. And the reason for that is, 1, I write a billion programs all the time. 2, I know my body really well. 3, I know where I'm supposed to be in relation to competition. And so I know, like, okay, I should be feeling this way this many weeks out, whatever. My training and the relationship that I have with my training, I feel like most people would lose their shit because it is so just like, okay, how do I feel today? And like, what are my options for what possible workouts I could have today, right? And by doing this with myself, you kind of realize that whether you're doing a 3x6 at an 8, or a 4x5 at a 7, or a 5x4 at a 6, they're all going to be similar types of stress, right? And at the end of the day, you need to go heavy at certain points. You need to pull back at certain points. You need to push hard at certain points. And there are certain things in training certain markers in training that you need to hit in order to make sure you're moving forward. And I know when I'm supposed to hit those things. And I took my squat from shit to 750, and it was easy, guys. It was easy. Thank you, Isaac. Thank you. We're getting in about 20 minutes now, so I'm gonna try to go a little bit faster. But yeah, Um, don't train like me. It takes years to get there. And honestly, guys, my priority is my team. My training comes second to that. So I'm okay if, I could have got more out of my training if I would have wrote it down, right? I'm okay with that because I get good results, and my goals are different than the goals that I have for my guys, right? Number 16, is it okay to skip the gym session if you don't feel right? Yes, absolutely. No matter what you have on paper, if you feel like you're gonna get hurt, if you feel like you know something is off, like my glute's talking to me, my quad is feeling weird, don't push it. It's not worth it. Call it. That's one thing that a lot of my more experienced lifters have down pat is like, they know that, like, yeah, you have this written down, but if something's talking to you, don't risk it. It's not risky. Like, you got to keep the train moving forward. If the train can't move forward, 100 miles an hour, then move it 60 miles an hour for today. We still took a step forward. So, yes, it's okay. It's okay to miss a session if you're going to prevent yourself from breaking. How long do you rest between sets? I had, like, anywhere from 3 minutes, all the way up to, I want to say like 12, 15 minutes if I have to. It really depends on what I'm doing, and I just want to make sure that I have enough energy to give 100% to my set. Why is Muskie the GOAT? Because he is himself, or at least he gives out the perception that he is himself. He doesn't care. Nobody owns him. He acts from, like, the heart, like, okay, I want to do this thing. This is something I'm passionate about. And he's just very rare. Like, the whole world is corrupt, and you got this one guy that's just a big kid. And I think that's very, very rare. Lifting through pain. Kind of goes to number 17. Listen to your body, or sorry, number 16. Listen to your body. Don't kill you. Don't overdo it. And if I will say this, if your pain is like low, and you know that it's trending down, even though you're training, then maybe you can get through it. But, like, there's certain things you can play with and certain things you don't. For example, this was a question, I forgot to put it on here. Somebody asked about tendonitis. Tendonitis is an overused thing. You don't want to mess with that, right? If you're feeling those pins and needles in your knees, you need to chill out, because you can end up tearing something. Anyway, self-programming. This is like a really big mental thing. I know some really, really intelligent lifters that just can't self-program. Everybody's different, and it's just so much easier on your life and everything when you can just trust someone and say, okay, they're gonna handle this for me. Let me focus on what I gotta focus on, right? Because it's too many moving parts. It's too many things that are, like, gonna kind of bump heads. I will tell you this. If I would at least write down my programming and like kind of be objective with it, as much as I could, if I wanted to focus solely on myself. But like I said, that's not my priority at the moment. It's my people. No, I don't even know if I'm gonna care as much about my own lifting as I will, their success. Anyway, Olympic lifts. This person was asking in regards to powerlifting. There's just no place for it, in my opinion. They're too ballistic. The mobility required and the just the speed of the movement combined with what we're trying to achieve with powerlifting, I feel like you can actually get hurt unless you go super light. I mean, the back squat is an Olympic lift. Like, I don't know. I don't think they really have a place. Okay, when to program leg. This is leg press or belt squat. If you have the recovery to fit them in and you feel that it could benefit and complement your competition squat, then I would like to put them after a main compound lift, such as a competition squat, a competition deadlift, or a high bar squat or something like that. But they're really useful. I mean, belt squats are. It's like, it doesn't put pressure on your spine, so it's like a way to just hit the legs more. This person asked how to deal with taco squats. You got to hammer, 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 hammer. In my opinion, a lot of this right here and a lot of this right here. The reason for that is your squat naturally on its own. Um, it's very hip dominant, right? So, I think it's safe to say that with super hip dominant squatters, you can really benefit from complementing the entire movement by adding in something like a leg press or a belt squat that's going to help kind of complete the lift. Where somebody like me or Russ or Amanda or any of us that squat like super upright, where, our knees are going to travel out further and we're not going to kick our hips back as much. What you can do to kind of mitigate this is to squat in flats. That's going to allow you to kind of get a nice balance of both, really work the inside of your thighs. Um, but yeah, I think that was good. Anyway, guys, kind of went over. But yeah, I hope this was good. We just banged out a bunch of questions. We got a really big UFC fight that I'm excited for. We got the Super Bowl this weekend. Let me know what you guys are excited about below. And if you were able to take something away from this video, drop a like. And yeah, let me know what you guys are excited about. Talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.